This is big breaking emergency news. We just saw a rocket from China explode over the United States. This just happened. I'm going to show you a video of it in just a second. And this is what's going on in our country. These are the things that are being allowed to happen inside of our country. A rocket from China just exploded over the United States, over California. This just happened. And this is very serious. This is being written off, but we do not know the full impact and implications of something like this. And this could have been a test. This could have been a dry run, because what are the odds that this happens over California? This is very suspicious and very serious, and this could have been a test for the big one. So let's dive into the details here. A rocket just exploded over the United States, a foreign rocket. That's what actually just happened. Please hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated, and it helps to get these warnings out so people know what's going on in our country. All right, so you can see here, this is what's going on. This is very serious. This is a national security threat, and they're going to act like this is no big deal, because this is like the balloons. This is like all the things that are penetrating our airspace. Now we have a rocket exploding over California, and it's on video. People are looking up in the sky. What the heck is this? All right, you can see here. Moment part of a Chinese rocket explodes over California after rogue re-entry through Earth's atmosphere. Months after spy balloon fiasco. All right, it says a rocket exploded over California as it re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. It says the rocket is the Chinese-owned Shenzhou 15 orbital model. This could have been a big dry run, a big test. We don't know exactly what this is. All right, what if there was some kind of weapon systems on this rocket? Thankfully, there was, that we don't know of. Maybe there was. Thankfully, there wasn't, that we don't know of, but maybe there was something on this. All right, you can see here it says Californians received a shock in the early hours of Tuesday morning when golden streaks from an apparent explosion appeared over Los Angeles. What are the odds? What are the odds there? It says locals believed it was the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that launched 6 hours prior, or a giant meteor that combusted. But aerospace researchers have determined that the fiery object was the orbital object of China's Shenzhou 15 rocket that launched in 2022. It says the China-owned space junk comes just months after the nation infiltrated the U.S. by flying a spy balloon over an Air Force base in Montana. Look at that thing. It was over Los Angeles. This is very serious, and this is a major national security threat for our country. All right, look at this quick video of this over Los Angeles. This was over Los Angeles. This is very serious. This is a Chinese rocket exploding in the atmosphere over the United States. What if this had a EMP on it? What if this was a electromagnetic pulse weapon that detonated when the rocket exploded and caused mass blackouts and mass outages of that region, right, of the electrical grid, caused overcharge of the power lines, of all the electronics in the area? That's what we could have been dealing with. There could potentially even be things like biocontaminants on here as well. All right, we had a top congressman warn of this when we had the spy balloon that was going over the United States. He was warning that there could be biological contaminants that could be on these aerial craft that are then dropped or released into the United States by air. Very serious, right? And this is a big deal. So what do you think of this Chinese rocket exploding over the United States? All right, and this happened at the same exact time. While this happened, it's all coincidence. It was over LA. And then at the same time, Biden and Xi just had a conversation. They just had a phone call the first time since 2022. In almost 2 years, their first phone call. And this rocket explodes over the United States. And at the same time, China sends warplanes, boats around Taiwan following the phone call. So they had the phone call. They surrounded Taiwan with dozens of planes and boats. And then there was a rocket that exploded over Los Angeles. This is very suspicious and very strange, right? You can see here it says, and this also happened right after the earthquake in Taiwan. China surrounded Taiwan with their warships. So this is a major World War III alert, all right, because there are U.S. troops in Taiwan. I made a whole video on it a few weeks ago, how there are U.S. troops in the closest Taiwan island that's closest to China, and it's only a mile away from China. All right, Taiwan's out here, China's over here, but there's a little island over here right next to China, even though Taiwan's way over here, and it's part of Taiwan technically, only a mile away, and there are U.S. troops right there as well. Right? Something big is going on. Something big is happening. You can see here it says 30 PLA aircraft and 9 PLAN vessels operating around Taiwan were detected up until 6 a.m. today. 20 of the aircraft entered Taiwan's northern middle line and southwest ADIZ zone. All right, it says a Taiwanese MND announced via social media that they have monitored the situation and employed appropriate force to respond. All right, so this is big. You can see this official letter that was sent out by the Taiwanese government. All right, something is going on. There are major military movements, major dry runs happening. We are already in a war. There's war all around us. There's war in the Middle East. There's war in Europe. And there's going to potentially be a war erupting in Asia very soon as well. That's what all the top generals are warning of. That's what all the top military leaders on both sides of the aisle are preparing for. And China actually just issued an emergency alert, a travel alert to their citizens inside the U.S. They're warning Chinese citizens not to travel to the U.S. All right, I made a whole video on this a few days ago, and they are warning of, quote, various unexpected situations. That's the quote. And we've seen these reports coming out of Congress itself warning that if there were some kind of EMP attack on the United States, which this could have easily been. This could have been an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse detonated in the atmosphere that is then sending down these disruptive electromagnetic waves that would fry our communications. All right? This is exactly what would happen. This would be the exact scenario of this happening. And this could have been a dry run. And if this did happen, congressional reports say that it would wipe out around 90% of the U.S. population within the first year. It would cause mass starvation. And that is because all the tractors they operate, they're all electronic now. They pretty much drive themselves. They operate with GPS. All the tractors, all the trucks, they are highly computerized. They all have computers on their engine to make sure they're not putting out too much exhaust. All this junk they have on the trucks and the cars, monitoring every little thing. And if one of these sensors or modules goes offline, then you got to send your truck in. You got to send the whole rig in. All right, so this is why this would cause mass starvation, because all these supply chains would be shut down. Everyone's car that is in the direct path of this, their car would most likely not work. All right, everyone's the electrical grid would potentially be fried from this. All right, the place that took the direct hit at least. And these EMPs can cover massive areas. All right, this congressional report, they were theorizing one being detonated over St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, so this could potentially happen, and there's no warning sign. How did this rocket come into the atmosphere and fall into California? How did this rocket get into California and explode in the atmosphere over Los Angeles, one of the biggest cities in the United States, possibly the biggest if you include the surrounding areas, right? Los Angeles and New York. How is this even allowed to happen? To enter the airspace at all? It seems like the doors are wide open, the border is wide open, right? I reported on how there were people rushing Marine Corps bases. This was happening just a few days ago. Chinese nationals that crossed the border illegally, in the country illegally, from China, they were just arrested for rushing U.S. Marine bases just a few days ago. I reported on. I made a whole video on this just a few days ago. This is big. Something's going on. Our border's wide open. Our skies are wide open. You think, oh, there's nothing that could happen. Like, nothing could hit us. At least that way. At least we don't have to deal with raining bombs. The skies are wide open right now. All right, there's no protection. I'm not sure what's going on, what's happening. All right, I want our country to be protected. I want our country to be safe. I have kids. I have multiple young children. Right? I want this country to prosper and last a long time. I don't want any of these things to be true. But I know that they're coming true, and I want to stop them before it's too late, before something big actually does happen. Right? So the skies are wide open, the border's wide open, the planes are wide open. There are programs to fly right into the United States, and then you get a card, you get a letter to fly to any city in the country free of charge. This system's being highly exploited by criminals and traffickers, and also potentially people that want to hurt and harm our country as well. This system is being exploited for. We're paying for it, paying for housing, clothing, phone, food, everything, and flights, transportation, everything. We could potentially be paying for somebody that's here to do something big to our country. All right, so make sure you guys are getting stocked up. Make sure you're getting ready. And they keep warning us that we're going to have this major cyber attack. They just warned there's going to be major cyber attacks on the water just a few weeks ago. And they're saying it's going to potentially come from China. Whether it's real or it's a false flag, it's going to be real when it happens. That's the point, is that whether it's something's going on, somebody's exploiting the situation, or it's really happening, either way, the response and the effect to your life is going to be the same, and it's going to be a major hit. All right, so I'm telling you, before this week, guys, this week's big too. All this stuff we keep hearing, all this weird stuff about the eclipse, states of emergencies, all this stuff, telling people to stock up. So get stocked up. Fill your water tanks up. Fill your gas tanks up. Check your generator. Crank it up if you haven't cranked it up in a while, because sometimes the fuel gets stale. The oil gets old. Get some oil for it. Know how to change the oil for your generator. It's normally pretty easy. Same thing with your car. Change the oil. Fill the tanks up. Have these things in good condition and topped off in case you need to make them last. Alright, so thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life in your family, go check out my video I posted earlier today. There's something crazy going on. Something crazy going on in our country, and it's affecting our fish, right? So go check out that video. I appreciate that, because there's all this weird stuff going on, and it needs to be explained. Just like this rocket entering into our airspace, this needs to be explained. What's going on? How is this allowed to happen in the United States? This doesn't seem like the country it should be. So, thank you guys. Please get prepared. Please get your homestead ready too, because if these supply chains go down, then, and we're already seeing them go down, they're already shutting down egg farms, all this stuff, then you're going to have to rely on local supply chains, local farmers markets, local growers, local producers, and yourself producing things as well, and bartering with people, trading your eggs, trading your lettuce, your tomatoes you grow, your microgreens you grow, trading your milk, trading your goat cheese, trading your soap, trading your whatever you make, your baked goods. You make homemade baked goods. Whatever you can provide value for, get these skills in case you really need them when it hits the fan. That's what we've been working on, to be prepared and be ready. All right, so thank you guys. Hope you have big blessings, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.